My name is Eileen, like she said, and I just first want to say how honored I am to be speaking at the symposium. It is so educational for me and my mother to be here and to see all of the reason why I am still here. And so I just want to say thank you to begin with. But like she said, as you probably have noticed from my shiny little head, I am going through treatment for Ewing sarcoma. And I guess I'll just start by giving you guys some background information and then, talk about my journey as to how I have led up to this day. So I am 20 years old, and I am one of 4 daughters, the youngest of 4 daughters, with 2 amazing parents. I grew up in Loudoun County, and I was, an all-state athlete in high school and have just continued an active lifestyle in my 3 years at Virginia Tech. I am currently a psychology major, and I'm looking to go to physician assistant graduate school in the future. And I have been working as a certified nurse aide for the past year and a half before this all happened. So to start, in November of 2015, I was in the fall semester of my junior year. I just started experiencing some pretty extreme back pain. It was pretty severe, like somebody was stabbing me in the middle of my spine. And I just went to doctor's appointments upon doctor's appointments, and nobody could really find anything. And I got an x-ray that showed no structural damage that was done to my back, but they did diagnose me with bronchitis, and I was ultimately diagnosed with bronchitis, like I told you, and they thought that I tore a muscle in my back from severe coughing. And so, they started me on steroids and some severe heavy pain medication, and nothing obviously worked. And so one morning, I woke up with some numbness and tingling in my feet. And at that point, I definitely knew something was wrong. I knew that I've experienced as an athlete, I experienced torn muscle pain, and it just wasn't, it was something was different. And so I finally, a couple days had passed, and my leg, the numbness and tingling in my legs had worsened enough to start affecting my walking. And so they finally got an MRI, and they found a mass compressing my spinal cord that was just damaging the nerves in my legs. And so finally I was rushed to Lewis Gale Medical Center in Salem, Virginia, where they did a full exploratory emergency spinal surgery, where they performed a laminectomy with a full resection of the tumor, and it was very successful. They, resected the whole tumor, and we were pretty confident that it was benign in the beginning, to be honest. And so I was in the hospital for about 5 days, and they finally let me go home back to Loudoun County, and my family and I finished our crazy hospital stay. And at that point, we really didn't know that it was malignant. It took about 3 days for them to determine that it was indeed malignant, but they ruled out glioma and lymphoma. And once we found out it was malignant, I immediately met with a local oncologist and started the process of freezing my eggs. So I got that successfully completed, and then about 14 days later, they finally got the call from my neurosurgeon that it was indeed Ewing sarcoma. And so I don't think I'll ever forget that day that my mom and I got the phone call. We were sitting in a Home Goods parking lot, and I got the call from my neurosurgeon, and they just told us it was Ewing sarcoma, and we just started bawling our eyes out and hugged each other, and then let go, and then we're like, what is that? Like, we had no idea what this was. We had no idea what we were in for. We had we just didn't know what to expect. All I knew is I had cancer, and that's really all I knew. And I didn't really know what to think. I was pretty confused. And I think right after that, my family and I just kind of went crazy. We went crazy looking for experts around the country to talk to in terms of, people that have been educated on Ewing's and all different doctors. And originally I was with an oncologist that was taking more of an adult outpatient approach to my chemo and wasn't really, rushing me to start my chemotherapy very soon. And once we had finally gotten my bone scans done, and they did determine that it was localized and it had not spread anywhere, and so that was a blessing. I just came across Dr. Jeff Turetsky's phone number, and so I gave him a call, and I I can definitely say that this was the most important phone call of my entire life, I think I can say. Because once I talked to him, he was so adamant and so confident. I was just simply content. I think that's the best word I could use, is content, after I talked to him, because which is a little confusing because he completely changed my treatment plan. He, wanted me to start chemo earlier. He wanted me to go into an inpatient chemo regimen at Children's National, which I am today, and everything changed. And so something just felt right. I followed my gut. I, completely changed my treatment plan. I called my other oncologist and said, my sad sorrows and goodbyes to him, and, completely changed to the fact that it was a pediatric cancer and that it was important that I took that different approach to it. And here I am today. I am 6 months post-surgery. I have completed 6 weeks of radiation at the Proton Center in Maryland, and I have completed 10 cycles of chemo, and I have 7 cycles to go, and that feels so good to say because I am officially over the halfway point and I'm in the home stretch. And in terms of my prognosis, not only just the fact that it was localized, I definitely am thankful that my body has responded so well to the chemo. Like I had said with my active lifestyle, I think with the shape that I was in before my surgery and how I've tried to keep, pretty active during my treatment has definitely helped a ton in terms of, how my body has responded and the energy. Obviously, I'm standing in front of you guys today and I'm doing pretty good. So, yeah, so I won't sit here and say that it hasn't been mentally and physically hard. I obviously, we've had our ups and downs, and no one should have to stay in the hospital for 6 days at a time. But I will say that I always go by the saying that things could always be worse, and that is, even true for me. So I'm obviously thankful that I could, walk up here, and I, have gotten all the feeling, most of the feeling. I won't say completely. Still dealing with some neuropathy in my feet, but I'm walking, and I am, not on a walker anymore, and I'm standing in front of you guys and confident in how far I've come. So even though cancer has definitely taken a lot of things away from me, countless things, including a year of college, it has provided countless unforgettable experiences and memories that I don't think I obviously am going to cherish for the rest of my life. I definitely think that all of the amazing support that I've had from my friends, family, and even strangers has, contributed a ton to my abilities to fight with this crazy, crazy disease. So, I've been exposed to the medical field alone in ways that I would have never been exposed to, and I obviously am, like I said, I'm interested in being a PA in the future, and I think all the nurses at Children's always joke that my bedside manner is going to be pretty good. So, yeah, it definitely, I appreciate that alone with how much that's going to help me be a medical practitioner in the future, along with meeting all of these amazing people along the way, including all of you. So, yeah, I think one of the nicest sayings that I've always, run by is that I definitely am refusing to watch this crazy, crazy storm go by without choosing to dance in the rain. So one man that I think would absolutely be dancing in the rain with me is a man named Dr. Jeff Turetsky, as you all may know. I'll just give you guys some background information before he gets up here and speaks to us. But he first started his career by graduating from the University of Wisconsin in 1984 with a BS in biochemistry. He then moved on to get his MD at the University of Minnesota in 1988, followed by a pediatric residency in the Medical College of Virginia in 1991. He then completed his hematology and oncology fellowship in 1997 at the National Cancer Institute, and he first worked in the Department of Pediatrics at the University of Maryland at Baltimore from 1997 to 2002. And in 2002, he was recruited to Georgetown, where he has since achieved the ranking of professor and started his research on creating specific and new drugs for Ewing sarcoma. And in 2014, he co-founded Tocalis Incorporated that created a team to help develop the drug that we all are about to learn more about. And I can't thank him enough for how he has not only changed my life, but will change countless lives, both young and old, through all the hardships that they may experience. But with all of that said, without further ado, I would love to introduce to you Dr. Jeff Turetsky.